Okay, welcome in everybody. So, if you haven't heard the news yet, someone has officially solved and deciphered my hidden word within my boots on the ground video. So, today we have Tile joining us in as that first person to find it. And he's going to do a short little interview with us, kind of explain his journey throughout this hunt. And at the end of the video, stay tuned and I'll reveal the location for all 8 and how the cipher works.
Yeah, thanks, Kobe. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank
Glad
you.
to finally give my eyes a break from staring at my phone screen for hours. So yeah, I'm kind of new. I'm a novice armchair treasure hunter, I'd say. Especially new to JCB's hunt. So I found treasure inside from a friend that actually went searching for the Forrest Fenn treasure from 2016 to 2020. So same as JCB. So he actually got me onto the book in July 31st. So 3 days later, I was ready to go boots on the ground. I said, I flipped right to the Forrest Fenn chapter since that was our main focus for 4 years. And, had a good idea and actually coincidentally went to the Buffalo Peaks Wilderness, which was, highlighted in your video.
Yep.
So, your video really kind of sparked my interest since you're in Colorado, you're searching Buffalo Peaks Wilderness. And that's, that's where I kind of had a hunch. I spent a lot of time in Granite, Colorado. And, it felt like it was the place to go. But I've kind of moved on from that area, closer to Twin Lakes, Independence Pass. And so I'd say I'm a novice armchair treasure hunter. But yeah, I liked your video. You did a great job editing that video.
Thank you.
Adding the little transparent numbers in the video, which was pretty clever. Definitely, took some time to find those. I had to slow the video down a lot.
Okay.
Few instances, yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that it's always been fun for me to solve puzzles. In college, I'd always just be sitting in class and trying to solve the Sudoku puzzles, and crossword puzzles, So, that's pretty much what sparked my interest in treasure hunting. Is just kind of like the joy of solving puzzles and riddles. Yeah, I agree with you, and I kind of feel like searching for Forrest Fenn's treasure makes you, if you were searching it for that 4-year period of time, other people have said this as well. You really fall in love with your solve, and it does kind of make you a victim of confirmation bias. And I kind of feel like during that 4-year period of time, I became an expert in my own confirmation bias.
Yeah.
And which actually led me to the Canadian border up in Montana.
Okay.
And, probably wouldn't have found the treasure in a million years, but I sure fell in love with the solve. And the more Forrest Fenn spoke in the scrapbooks and interviews that he did, the more clues that I would find connecting to my solve location. But yeah, I mean, it helps for sure knowing Forrest's background and all the the history involved. I think it helps with JCB's hunt, especially for the Forrest Fenn box. We know all the other intricacies of between 5,000 and 10,200 feet, etc. So those kind of extra little hints that Forrest Fenn gave throughout the years, I think they do help. Yeah, no, actually, I didn't slow it down until the very end where I was searching for those last 3 timestamps.
Okay.
So, I would just kind of find the first one that you gave as, the 55-second mark.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I just happened to just continue to watch the video, found a couple other ones. And then it wasn't until like the very last three numbers that I needed to find where I started to really slow it down. Yep, just my iPhone. And then,
Okay.
yeah, luckily I could slow it down, pause it, zoom in. You can do a lot on the phone. Just, I'm sure you know. Do you do a lot of editing of your videos through your phone too?
Everything personally is on my phone. I know a lot of people do prefer computers, and I understand why they do, but I am pretty consistent with my phone, and that's just what I've come to prefer.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do on the iPhone these days. So, yeah, that's all I use. Well, in the beginning, you actually mentioned dreamers, and I thought it was kind of like, that was a weird mention of the word dreamers. And so I was like, that's got to be the word that we're looking for. And so, I kind of got that before I got all of the timestamps. But then, yeah, the additional clues that you gave were helpful towards the end. And, I know you had some thoughts on whether or not you should give out those additional hints. But, yeah, I think that, there's been past treasure hunts where the hider of the treasures, especially, you talk about Byron Price. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
I
the
haven't.
hider. He hid all the secrets. He did the secret treasure hunt.
Okay.
So, and that was back in 1982. And he did communicate through letters and emails with searchers. Searchers would reach out to him. And they'd write him letters about, hey, am I in the right spot? And he'd, confirm or he'd give additional hints to those treasure hunters. Obviously JCB is not going to be going that route. But yeah, so everybody has different strategies involved, whether you're hiding the treasure or searching for the treasure, I think that if it's a smaller treasure hunt, why not give additional clues, especially if you want whatever you're hiding to be found in a timely manner. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think you know what number that is. That number 32 on the window tab. I mean, there's no way you could find that in like regular speed. So I think that you definitely needed to slow that down and even zoom in too, because it's such a small little number on that window tab. But that was a good one.
Thank you.
Props to you for hiding that there.
That was one of the options. We talked a little bit about it where I had a scene in the video. It's showing the map. And you, at one point, even asked about, is there something in this timestamp? And I told you that there wasn't, but originally I was looking at doing it, but it was so hard to make out with all the different greens and whatnot on the map. So I took the 32 instead of putting it there and put it on that web page, and I was like, it's an oddball out. It's something different. And when I'm talking in that scene, you're really focused on the middle of the screen. I'm highlighting a quote from JCB. You're not paying attention to the upper corner on the tab. So it was kind of obvious, but also not.
Right. And those maps are so busy too. So, that was like, oh, sure. There's so many numbers on those maps too. So, it could be anywhere. So I'm glad you didn't hide a little tiny number within those maps.
It was pretty tricky because, like I said, I wanted something to be obvious that it was done in a timely manner, but not so obvious that I got 20 people messaging me at once that this is the word. And because at that point, what's the fun in it as well?
I mean, yeah, it was perfect. It's it was perfect for what it was. You don't want to make it too difficult for somebody to solve, and of course you don't want to make it too easy. But I think the difficulty really matched with what you were trying to achieve.
Perfect. Thank you. Love that feedback.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Yeah, I would sure
Okay.
participate. I mean, I kind of take this is the off season right now. So,
Mhm.
I'm not going boots on the ground. There's snow on the
Yeah.
ground.
Yep.
You left Colorado just in the perfect timing. You got a snowstorm and it's
Mhm.
freezing outside right now. So, what better thing to do to just kind of do some, try to solve some riddles or,
Yeah.
solve a puzzle here and there. It's the first kind of little hunt that I've seen on YouTube, and I do watch a lot of YouTube. So, yeah, I appreciated it, and
Thank
it was
you.
good timing.
Thank you. I don't know if I ever will do, but if I get the chance, I'm open to it, but it's probably going to be around that same kind of concept, very similar. So just keep your eyes peeled. You never know what you might just accidentally come across when you're watching the channel.
Yeah, definitely. So, in particular, to There's Treasure Inside treasure hunt. I recently came across the idea that JCB may be playing homage to more than just the Forrest Fenn treasure hunts.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would suggest looking through the eyes of our predecessors and reviewing old armchair treasure hunts. Really to get a better understanding of
Mm-hmm.
ways to hide clues. And I think it just makes you better at current armchair treasure hunts.
Yeah.
Just as JCB says, in addition to escape rooms and
Mm-hmm.
puzzles and games, reviewing websites like Mysterious Writings. It's Jenny Kyle's site, which is excellent as a resource. And she's a veteran armchair treasure hunter. So
Mm-hmm.
for a novice like myself, I mean, that's the place to go to really get up to speed. Yesterday I actually came across another YouTube channel. Guy's name is AJ Rainville.
Okay.
And then, he had his channel going 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was a lot more active, but, I've been just trying to watch his videos because he does go into some more detailed videos about previous armchair treasure hunts, their solves, and
Okay.
how the treasures were found. Some of them controversial,
Mm-hmm.
and then some of them really intricate too. So it really
Okay.
blows my mind on how eloquent or how elegant some of the solves were, especially
Mm-hmm.
the one being Masquerade, which is probably one of the first
Okay.
armchair treasure hunts to look into. Look into the Masquerade
Mm-hmm.
solve and see how that thing was solved. It's pretty amazing. How that
I'll
thing
have to
was.
do that.
And there's some controversy involving that too. So
Okay.
much like Forrest Fenn.
Love it. I'm definitely going to have to check that out myself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here and kind of walking everybody through. I know some of these questions, especially like what device you were using and stuff, was people were talking for the last 2 weeks about this hidden clue. And, I found one, I found two, but I don't know if it's possible to find the rest. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be here, share your thoughts, how you went through the process, and I'm glad you were able to enjoy the hunt a little bit.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. So we'll wrap this up here, but stay tuned, guys, because like I said, I will walk through. We were talking earlier about a web page tab and stuff like that. So next couple minutes of this video, I will break down and reveal every single location. Starting out, the cryptic word was dreamers. While I often call my members dreamers, I started using it a little bit more when the treasure hunt released. One hunter stands with nearly all 5 clues already earned, but dreamers rise where numbers fall, and more can yet be learned. The next biggest clue was related to magician's sleight of hand, and what I meant by this is that many of the hidden letters were actually in opposite directions from where I drew your eyes. Take, for example,
the first number, 31. I pop it up on the screen on the right side at the same exact time that you have text rolling in. Naturally, your eyes are going to look at the text and read it, and by the time you're done reading it, 31 has already popped up and disappeared from the other side of the screen. The third biggest clue, I would say, is my overall Forrest Fenn poem. This poem basically hinted to look at kind of busy areas like B-roll footage or a website, the maps, where things seem to be a little bit cluttered, and it made people think a little bit of overlays and like the frame, the outer frame of my video, and ultimately that is where the hardest clue was. So now that you know some of the more cryptic clues, here is the hidden locations for all 8 of the numbers. Knowing that the word is dreamers, these are the numbers you're looking for throughout the video. Now, the first one we already know is at the 55-second mark. The second, though, appears when I show the full Forrest Fenn poem. The third, while distracted by my scrolling, is on the Windows tab on my internet. The next is hidden in the first time I show this scene. Next, we have it next to Rocky. Now this one's pretty shaded. And along with this one also has to kind of be in motion due to the shading. Then we have this one where you're looking for treasure, but really it's in the upper corner. And finally, at the end, when I'm explaining the rules and distracting you with text. If you enjoyed this treasure hunt and my video on the Forrest Fenn, please check out my Lion's Share videos. I do have a membership-only video for anyone who wants to buy a membership and find my solve for the biggest treasure of all.